Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Yacht Crew Vlogs right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I am your host, and today I am glad to welcome Hallie and your last name is Barry, right?
Yep.
And you are a volunteer at the New Zealand Sailing Trust. Welcome aboard Yachting International Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know what? We have been doing a series on the New Zealand Sailing Trust, and there was a plight that came to my attention a few months ago as a result of funding sort of slowly drying up, as it were, because of the COVID situation straight across the face of the planet. And for me, I've never been a sailor, but I know a lot of sailors, and there's such a passion and such a drive with that community. I think it's a separate
Yep.
community unto its own. And so I decided that I wanted to do a series of interviews and highlight exactly what it is that the New Zealand Sailing Trust does for the people of New Zealand. Now, we have heard a lot about the amazing boats that they have,
Yeah.
and I've talked to some of the organizers and some of the people that work for it, but
Yep.
I really wanted to get someone like you on board that had been part of the whole experience of New Zealand Sailing Trust as a student.
Yep.
So tell me a bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what were sort of your dreams and aspirations as a kid?
So I'm from this little town up north called Tomarata, very near the beach. So grew up in the water, loved surfing, swimming, all of that stuff. And um, yeah, so as a kid, I wanted to be a professional netball player. That was my dream for quite a long time. And um, yeah, but things changed. So now I'm looking into kind of criminal law or maybe marine engineering, but we'll see how it goes and see where I go with sailing now because that's a big part of my life now.
Well, tell me how it came about that you were exposed to the New Zealand Sailing Trust in the first place.
So I recently in year 10, which is 2 years ago, I moved to Epsom Girls Grammar School, and they have every year they have this trip called the Steinlager Challenge, which is the Entered Sailing Trust. So it's a week out in the water on Steinlager 2, sailing around and all of that. And that was my first ever trip with the Entered Sailing Trust. And I instantly fell in love with sailing because I hadn't been exposed to any sailing prior to that. And then I was like, wow, I want to do this. I want to keep doing this. So put my name down as a volunteer, and that's where I am now.
So, what was it about that experience that really got you? Was it the teamwork? Was it, being out in the open oceans? Was it getting to know, about the sea? What specifically was it that really pulled your heartstrings?
Um, I think it was um the sailing like out in open water, definitely, and the way that the like watching how the team, the crew members like work with each other to sail this massive boat, massive yacht, and I thought it was so cool, and I don't know, I guess I like fell in love with it, like being out in the waters, being able to sail around, go um around the Gulf Harbor and stuff. It was very very touching, and I fell in love, very much so.
Do you think it changed your mindset? Do you think it changed you as a human being to want to do more, to be more, to look at the world in a different way?
Yes, definitely. I have so like a way. Um, my love for the ocean is much bigger now. Like, because on the trips we go do beach cleanups and stuff, and seeing all that rubbish out there and how much stuff you actually find on the beaches, it's very heartbreaking. And it's just, I want more people to get involved in this, in the Intersailing Trust on these trips, so that they can see like how the environment is impacted from what we do at home, what we do at school, where we put our rubbish and everything. So yeah, it's changed my life, definitely.
Do you think that the world in general has lost sight of what's important as far as how we take care of our environment?
Yes, I think so. I think there's just not as much care as there should be. There's just, I don't think people think, oh, chucking this piece of rubbish out the window, like where it's going to end up, or littering on the ground, or like, oh, just so many things that we could take care of and change that would make a difference in the environment. Yeah, so I just don't think I don't think the world has enough care or knowledge of what we're doing to the environment and how it impacts the environment.
Do you think your generation is in a place to spread that message and to make a change?
Yes, I think we can make a change. I just think we need to stand up and do it, and stop standing back and actually stand up, like show what we believe in and what we think is right, and show others what's going on in the world and how what simple things we do impacts the rest of the environment. So yeah, I think we can make a change.
Do you think that there's enough people listening?
No, I don't think so. And I think that's one of the big problems. Because I think in my generation now, we're just caught up in being popular, social media, and all these expectations of like looking pretty and schoolwork and stuff, but not actually anything else like the environment or like how certain things impact the world around us. You know.
So, in a perfect world, if your voice was strong enough to be heard around the world, what kind of message would you send?
Or I would just I'd send out I'd probably say something along the lines of we all need to start listening and working together and not against each other because there's lots of disagreements and arguing and stuff. But instead, we need to put everyone's thoughts together and everyone's ideas and make sure everyone's listening and on the same page to try and make a change and stop just saying, oh, we're just going to have to deal with it, you know? Like, we actually have to stand up and do something.
So, as far as the New Zealand Sailing Trust, do you think that that is something that can teach these generations a better way of life and a way forward?
Yes, yes, definitely. Like, I mean, it's changed me, and now that I'm a volunteer, I see how it changes the kids and their perspectives on everything. Because I get lots of comments from the students we take out saying, "Oh, I didn't think there'd be this much rubbish on the beach. I didn't think there'd be this much pollution and stuff." And it's crazy because they hadn't experienced something like this before, and going out and seeing like what they do at home, how it impacts the environment and stuff. So I definitely think the Intersailing Trust can help with that. Definitely.
So, how long are you going to be volunteering? Do you think this is going to be something that you will continue to do for, as long as you're there?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna keep volunteering and hopefully become crew. And I think I'm just gonna get into it as much as I can, see how far I can go, see where it takes me. Yeah, definitely gonna keep it with me. Yeah.
So, if you go into the marine industry with your further education, do you think that becoming a crew member might actually become one of your goals and dreams in the future?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think if I carry on with studying my physics at school and whatnot, and getting into like the marine industry, I definitely think becoming a crew member will help out with that, and definitely be one of my goals in life. Yeah, and sailing the
And if
world,
it,
that's a big goal.
well, if you didn't have the New Zealand Sailing Trust, would that have even entered your realm of possibilities?
No, definitely not. If I had not um, met the into sailing trust and had the opportunities I've been given, I don't think I'd be into sailing at all. So I'm very lucky and I'm grateful for it.
So, for those companies out there that have money that would be looking towards um, donating to a charity, what would you tell those companies why they should put it towards the New Zealand Sailing Trust from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, I think they should invest their money in the into sailing trust because of um, how a week, like just a week, 5 days out sailing, can change someone's life so quickly, and like their perspective on the world and how they see things and with the environment. And it's not just that, but they come up with good social skills like communicating skills, teamwork, and stuff. And they learn this at such a young age that they can impact into the real world. And sometimes people find that it's sailing is their thing, which is what I think I've found. So I definitely think that investing money into a trust like this is definitely worth it, and especially for kids that don't have many opportunities like this to go on a big, massive ended sailing yacht that is very important and get to sail around that usually they would just be at home at school, you know? So I think it's really good for um, big companies like this to invest their money in something so important and something so life-changing. Yeah.
Well, we do hope that, I know that the New Zealand Sailing Trust, you guys are back in business now. You are actually out
Yeah.
there. I've actually been sharing some posts and seeing there's been some videos of some kids actually out sailing,
Yeah.
and they look like they're having an absolute ball. So, that is good news. Things are starting to move again, and things are starting to happen.
Yeah, it's going all back to normal, which is good.
How many trips have you done so far since you've come out of lockdown, as it were?
I've only done one trip currently because I have a lot of sports and schooling on at the moment. So we had one crew training and a run race, which was a good get back into it, shake down the sails, which is very good.
How was that, being locked down for 3 months without being able to sail?
Oh, I hated it. I really wanted to get out there the whole time. I was dying to, and I kept on emailing like, "Hey, like, when do you think we'll get back out on the water? Like, let me know." And as soon as I got an email saying there's a crew training, I was like, "Yep, sign me up. I'm getting out there." Took a day off school to go out because
They might see this now, you're right. I
hi,
played hooky to go sailing. Sorry.
sorry. Yeah,
Well, to be honest, I mean, when you think about a day sitting in a schoolroom learning and a day out sailing, where do you think you got your best education?
sailing, day out sailing, definitely, 100%. Yeah,
Well, I have 3 children, and sometimes I kind of wonder if we're teaching them the proper life skills for the future, with the way the world is right now, by sitting in the
yeah,
schoolrooms with the same education system that we had 20 years ago.
yeah,
And then we come across kids like you, and not that you're a kid, you're actually an adult now. But when you talk about sailing and you have that passion and you talk about what you have learned in a very, you said 5 days sailing, the amount of things that
yeah.
you learned, sometimes you wonder if things like that should be integrated into a school system, full stop.
Yes, I reckon it should be in all schools because the amount of social skills, like teamwork skills, and just like skills that you need in general life that I learned in 5 days compared to what I've learned in my prior years of school. Like, I think it's definitely needed in all schools. Like, it's very important, I reckon.
Well, I mean, these are things that your parents probably tried to instill in you as well, but
Yeah,
that relationship, the parent-child relationship, that never really goes well anyway. So
yeah,
to be out on a sailing boat with your peers and, strangers, literally, because the people that are teaching you how to sail at that stage when you first get on that boat are strangers. Um, in 5 days, you probably learned everything that your parents were trying to teach you in the first 15, 16 years of your life.
yep, yeah, yeah. So
And you accepted it.
yeah, because I'm only 16 right now, and I feel like I've learnt so much, like so many life skills and important things I need to know. And I feel like the first 5 days out sailing of my first ever trip, it's matured me so much. Like, it's very crazy. I've learnt a lot of life skills ever since then. So yes, I think it's
Well, I
very
mean, at 16 years old, it sounds like you've got your head on your shoulders, and it's good to hear that you already sort of have framed a concept of what you want to be in the future. You definitely have very solid ideas on how you view the environment and how you view the planet on which we live and how you want to change that. And I do believe that we do need to spread that message and make sure that message goes far and wide, because I saw the world under lockdown and how pristine and clean it was. And I'm sure you saw via social
yes,
media and news
definitely.
how
Yeah,
absolute, the planet recovered so quickly in 3 months.
yeah,
And now that the lockdowns around the world are loosening, we see stories of just absolutely horrific proportions of littering, of rubbish, of, disaster. And we were locked down longer than we've been out. Um, how does that make you feel?
oh, it's disappointing, because the change of the environment, how quickly it got better during lockdown, and then as soon as the world starts coming out of it, no one cares about it anymore. It's just back to normal life. Like, they have no worries. They don't think that that one piece of rubbish they're going to chuck out is going to end up somewhere in the ocean or whatever. And it's frustrating that the world doesn't have enough knowledge about what they do impacts the world and stuff like that. So it's very frustrating to watch and how clueless people are with things like this.
Well, if somebody offered you an opportunity to speak to the world, would you take that opportunity?
100%. Yes, I would. Because lots of people need to learn and need to see the different impacts that we are putting on the environment and how, like, literally the littlest things can make a change as well. But people don't see that, and that's what I would want to say to them, you know?
Do you know what, Haley? It's been absolutely amazing to have you on board. And the reason I asked you that last question is because while we've been speaking, I had a little bit of a glimmer of an idea in my mind that perhaps you would like to host a show on the environment when you have time, of course, between your sports and sailing and school.
Yeah.
And spread your message and try to reach out to the world in general and tell them what they need to do to make sure that your generation has a planet that is sustainable, that will feed you and your entire generation and your children to come. So we'll talk about that off air, and maybe
Sweet.
it's something
That'd be
we'll see.
awesome.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see you on the airwaves coming up soon. And you know what? I mean, as far as the New Zealand Sailing Trust goes, I would highly recommend anybody that is looking to not only help, an amazing, reputable trust, but something that is not only helping kids that may not have had the opportunities before, it is also teaching kids skills and, just a completely different mindset as far as the future. And you are a prime example of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on board. We really
Thank you
appreciate
for
your
having
time.
me.
Of course. Once again, you've been watching another edition of Yacht Crew Vlogs right here on Yachting International Radio. My name is Ria. I have been your host. Tune in again for another episode.